Today I'm going to tell you about the 15 US cities where minorities are thriving here in the United States. I get asked all the time by people from different minority communities where is the best place for whatever group they're from to live. My response is always the same thing, wherever the hell you want. But the reality is that some places might be a little more comfortable for minority groups to relocate to, maybe buy some real estate, and call home. In this video, we're looking at the 15 cities best suited for minorities looking to thrive. How we came up with these cities? Well, we looked at stats from the US Census Department, the Department of Labor and Statistics, and more importantly, a survey we did where we asked different minority communities what are the best major cities for minorities. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 15, Seattle, Washington. Seattle is where the coffee is strong and the opportunities are even stronger. In this tech-savvy city, minorities are thriving in the shadow of the Space Needle. From coding at startups to brewing up the next big business idea, Seattle's diverse communities are flourishing. And if the rain gets you down, just remember, it's perfect weather to stay inside and work on a program. Seattle's population is over 40% minority, with significant Asian and Black communities. The city is a major tech hub with a diverse cultural scene. 16% of businesses are minority-owned, and minority-owned startup growth is up 11% from 2020. Number 14, Denver. Denver, where the air is thin, but the opportunities are pretty thick. This mile-high city is a beacon of success for minorities, especially in its booming tech and startup scene. With the backdrop of stunning mountains and a thriving Hispanic and Black community, Denver offers a perfect blend for work and play. Don't forget to hydrate. Though, believe it or not, this is a weird thing. I brought this up before. More people get dehydrated and pass out on the sidewalk in Denver than they do in Phoenix. It's a strange thing. The minority population of Denver is about 40%. Minority-owned businesses, only about 16%, but that's climbing. Since 2020, minority-owned startup growth is 49%. Number 13, Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you're gonna move to Minnesota, you gotta like the cold and you gotta like the Vikings. That's all there is to it. This progressive city is a haven for minorities looking to succeed and get ahead, make their name in the world. You know, they have thriving Black and Asian communities leading the way. Whether you're into healthcare, tech, arts, or starting a snow-blowing machine, Minneapolis offers a wealth of opportunities. Just make sure you bundle up. The weather here is challenging to say the least. Be a guy that worked at my dad's restaurant that was born in El Salvador. He had come to the United States and he went to visit some relatives in Minneapolis in December. While he was there, they had a blizzard. He thought the world was coming to an end. He really thought that. The minority population in Minneapolis is about 44%. Minority-owned businesses, only about 16%. Since 2020, minority-owned startup growth is 140%. Number 12, Washington, D.C. Welcome to Washington, D.C., where the smart people don't work for the government. They work in startups and they start making $1 million. Usually they end up selling some kind of software or something like that to the government. If you can handle the political gridlock, D.C. is a powerhouse of opportunities for minorities, with more networking events than you can shake a filibuster at. I mean, that's what makes Washington, D.C. run. Networking. Washington, D.C. has a substantial Black population, making up about 47% of the city's residents. The city is a hub for politics, education, and advocacy. Minority-owned businesses in Washington, D.C., 24%. Since 2020, minority-owned startup growth is 176%. Number 11, Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is the capital of Texas, and it is a very blue city in a very red state. Matter of fact, Austin, the people there, take pride in how different they are from the rest of Texas. This is a tech-savvy city that's a hotbed of minority prosperity, with a thriving Hispanic and Black community making waves in every single industry, from tech startups to live music. Austin offers a dynamic blend of work and play. Just don't forget to eat barbecue while you're there. If you're a vegetarian, moving to Austin might be a bad deal. You're missing out on one of the best parts about Austin. 44% of Austin's population is minority, and minority-owned businesses, only about 18%. Minority-owned startup growth since 2020 is up 38%. Number 10, Dallas, Texas. Yep, we're staying in Texas for this one. Dallas is a very interesting city. And it is growing. Last time I was there like a year and a half ago, oh my God, the construction on the roads, the buildings that are going up since the last time I was there, which I think was 2018, it was insane. Dallas has always had very large Black and Hispanic communities, but the amount of minority-owned businesses starting up over the last decade has increased like tenfold. 53% of Dallas's population would be considered a minority. Minority-owned businesses is 17%, and since 2020, minority-owned startup growth is up 210%. Number 9, Las Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for success of its minority communities, which is impossible to hide at this point. The City of Lights is more than just casinos and shows. It's a thriving hub of minorities in business and entertainment, with opportunities as plentiful as slot machines. Las Vegas has a significant Black and Hispanic population, with over 60% of the city's residents. The city is a major tourist destination and a growing business hub. The minority population in the Las Vegas metro area is 60%. Minority-owned businesses, 16%. This is going to blow your mind. Minority-owned startup growth since 2020, 5,948%. Number 8, Phoenix, Arizona. In Phoenix, the only thing more relentless than the sun is the drive to succeed. Minorities are making their mark. Phoenix has a booming economy and a pretty solid tech scene that's kind of growing right now. Not every tech company leaving California is going to Texas. They're going to Arizona, they're going to Nevada, as some are actually going to Montana around the Billings area. Found that one kind of strange when I first heard about it. But yeah, Phoenix is starting to get a lot of tech companies moving in there. It's not like they were hurting for any, 5 years ago. It's just picking up steam. 60% of Phoenix's population would be considered a minority. Minority-owned businesses is about 19%. And since 2020, minority-owned startup growth is up 1,353%. Number 7, San Antonio, Texas. Yep, Texas got a lot on this video. I was in San Antonio during the pandemic, I think 2021 maybe, somewhere around there, late 2020. Went there going to film the Riverwalk and all that stuff, and if you haven't been watching this channel a while, I flew all the way out there to film the Riverwalk and get some good footage of the city. I went on the only week every couple of years they drained the river. Yes, they drained the river there, which that was kind of interesting too, because they pulled a bunch of those rent-a-scooters out and cell phones. They were pulling all kinds of weird stuff. Shopping carts. You gotta be a real idiot or a dick to throw a shopping cart into that river. I mean, most of the time, if you're gonna get a shopping cart down there, it's down some stairs. I found very few ramps. There was one area where there's like 5 of them and it was right underneath a bridge. So, I don't know, some idiots went up there and just tossed shopping carts over the bridge one day because, maybe they're bored or they ate too much Elmer's glue as a child. Who knows? In San Antonio, history and culture blend as perfectly as a margarita on a hot day. This city is a beacon for Hispanic pride and prosperity, with a thriving community that celebrates its roots daily. From the Riverwalk to the Alamo, San Antonio offers a wealth of opportunity for minorities to flourish. And the best tamales and tacos this side of the Rio Grande. San Antonio has a minority population of about 63%. Minority-owned businesses is only 26%. But since 2020, minority-owned startup growth is up 820%. Number 6, Houston, Texas. Yep, Houston is for everyone. I mean, Texas is. I think a lot of people feel that Texas is somewhat of a racist state because it's kind of this part of the South. And if you don't know anything about Texas and you just go off stereotypes, I could see you believe in that. I'm not trying to say there's no racism or everyone gets along like some kind of hippie love fest in Texas. No places like that. But their stereotype is from many years ago, and I think it was kind of false then too. The state I've seen the absolute most racism in my life is Florida. Texas is nowhere near that. Houston population is over 65% minority, with significant Black, Hispanic, and Asian communities. The city is known for its strong job market and diverse economy. 65% of Houston's population would be considered a minority, with minority-owned businesses sitting at about 31%. Since 2020, minority-owned startup growth is up 414%. Number 5, Chicago, Illinois. Chicago's population is nearly 70% minority, with significant Black and Hispanic communities. The city has a robust economy and a really bad reputation for violent crime. But if you look at the stats and you go by per capita, they're not that bad. They do lead the country in murder most years, though. But they also have like 5 million more people than the next city on the list. So when you look at the per capita, Chicago really comes in around number 25 or 26, depending on what study you look at. Chicago is a bustling metropolis of success stories. Whether you're in business, arts, or politics, the city offers a smorgasbord of opportunities. Just be ready to bundle up. I mean, your jacket needs to be thicker than the pizza they serve there, I'm telling you. You get that cold coming off the lake, oh, it's brutal. About 70% of Chicago's population would be considered a minority. 33% of the businesses are minority-owned businesses. Since 2020, minority-owned startup growth is up 230%. Number 4, New York, New York. Start spreading the news. New York City is a place for minority success. The Big Apple is a juice mix of cultures, each one bringing its own flavor to the city that never sleeps. Whether you're in finance, fashion, or food carts, New York City's minority communities are thriving in every borough. Just watch out for the pigeons. They're really the ones that run that city. I'll be in New York City in 3 weeks. New York City is one of the most diverse cities in the world, with significant Hispanic, Black, and Asian populations. It's a global center for finance, media, and culture. 71% of New York City's population is considered a minority. Minority-owned businesses only make up 28% of the businesses in New York City, but since 2020, the minority-owned startup growth is up 80%. Number 3, Miami, Florida. If you didn't know Miami had a lot of minorities, you've never been to Miami or watched Miami Vice back in the day. But really, Miami is a very diverse city. I read one stat, I'm not sure how true it is, but they said they have more Cubans in Miami than actually in Cuba, which is good because they got some great Cuban food there. But yeah, from Little Havana to Wynwood, Miami is a fiesta of culture, business, and let's not forget incredible coffee. Yes, they have it there. It's not just Seattle. If you can handle humidity and the occasional hurricane, Miami is a paradise for everyone, not just minorities. 70% of Miami's population is considered a minority. Minority-owned businesses make up 34% of all the businesses in Miami, and since 2020, minority-owned startup growth is up 98%. Number 2, Los Angeles, California. Over 70% of Los Angeles' population is made up of minorities, including large Hispanic, Asian, and Black communities. The city is a global hub of entertainment, tech, and trade, especially the trade. You got the garment district, you got the toy district, believe it or not, which is a whole bunch of Asian-owned companies. You even have the fabric district. Just don't roam into Skid Row if you're down that part of LA. That could get a little ugly. Los Angeles is a place where dreams come true, especially if you're a minority. This city isn't just about Hollywood glitz and glamour. It's a place where diverse communities thrive in every industry imaginable. Whether you're aspiring actor, tech whiz, or taco truck tycoon, LA has a spot for you. And with traffic that gives you ample time to reflect on your life choices, you'll appreciate all the success along the way. On top of that, it's got great weather. Just gotta deal with the smog occasionally. Well, not occasionally, every frickin' day. 72% of Los Angeles' population is considered a minority. Minority-owned businesses make up 20% of all the businesses in Los Angeles, and since 2020, minority-owned startup growth is up 60%. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget we have another channel called The Sweet Life for Briggs. There is a link for that in the comment section below. Does cruise videos, travel videos, stuff like that. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta is home to the 4th largest Black population in the U.S., with a thriving Black, middle, and upper class. The city boasts a number of Black-owned businesses and cultural institutions. Most of the people there call it Hotlanta during the summer. If you can navigate Peach Street, all 71 versions of it, you'll find a melting pot of prosperity. Here, Black excellence isn't just a goal, it's a way of life. From the bustling entrepreneurial spirit to cultural havens like the Sweet Auburn Historic District, Atlanta is a peach of a place for minorities. Yes, stop me before I pun again. 64% of Atlanta's population would fall into the minority category. Minority-owned businesses, 34% of businesses are minority-owned in Atlanta, and minority-owned startup growth is up 170% since 2020. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you'll probably like one of the 2 videos being suggested right now. All right, everyone, have a great day. Be nice to each other.